Hey everybody, Steve here, getting ready to take my first road trip in 9 months. My last road trip was up to San Francisco with my grandson Mason, and that was just about 9 months ago, and I haven't left the desert since. I don't think I've driven my car out of Palm Springs, out of the Palm Springs desert area, since that trip. I guess I just needed a break, but it's May of 2025 and I'm excited to hit the road again and to visit some more cemeteries. Now, sorry if I sound kind of stuffy. There's a lot of pollen in the air. It's spring. It's been very windy this week here in Palm Springs, and my voice sounds like I'm very congested, which I do feel pretty congested, but that's just par for the course for me and my allergies, especially this time of year, spring and fall. So tomorrow I'm heading up to Victorville and Apple Valley. It's called the High Desert. Palm Springs is in the Low Desert, and according to Google Maps, it's 100 miles from Palm Springs, from where we live, to the Apple Valley Cemetery that I'm planning to visit. Actually, I'm going to visit 3 cemeteries. 2 cemeteries I've never been to before, and then the Apple Valley Cemetery I have visited before, probably, 5-6 years ago, I think. Well, since my visit all those years ago, another celebrity has been laid to rest there. Johnny Crawford from the Riflemen and the Mickey Mouse Club died a couple of years ago. He was cremated and his ashes are interred there. That's why I'm heading back tomorrow to visit his gravesite, or his final resting place, or his cremation niche. And I'm going to take another walk around the cemetery, and of course lots of other people have been buried there since my last visit, so I'm looking forward to walking around the cemetery, visiting his gravesite. And then the 2 other cemeteries that I'm visiting, there's a famous person buried in each cemetery, and I'm looking forward to finding their gravesites. I had to call one of the cemeteries to get directions because he has a Find a Grave memorial page, but there's no directions. There's a photo of his headstone, so I know he has a headstone, but there's no directions, no GPS, no indication of how to get there. So the person in the office was very helpful, gave me directions, but directions over the phone sometimes are not all that helpful when you're there in person. But at least I have a general idea of where he's buried, so I should be able to find his gravesite. So you may be wondering why I'm talking about this on this channel. You know, I have 2 channels. This is my personal channel, my retirement channel, and the other channel is the Graveyard channel, where I visit gravesites. Well, today I thought I would share a little bit of the behind-the-scenes preparation of how I get ready for my road trips. Now, this is just a day trip. I'm just going there for the day, but Google Maps, like I said, says it's 100 miles away. It's about 2 hours. 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours to get to the furthest cemetery, which is the Apple Valley Cemetery. The other cemeteries are in Victorville, which are maybe about 1.5 hours from here. One of them I know in Victorville, which will be the first one I go to, opens at sunrise. So I'm going to try to get there at sunrise, which is around 6:30 a.m. So I'm going to have to leave here at least by 5 a.m. I also need to stop for gas. I haven't filled up with gas in 2 months. I just haven't been driving that much. Even here in Palm Springs, I haven't been driving that much. So it's been nice on the wallet, but I really haven't had much of interesting road trips to share with any of you in a while. So over the years, many viewers and subscribers have suggested that on my road trips, I stop here for lunch or stop there for breakfast or dinner or whatever. And the thing is, on these trips, especially day trips, I don't stop. I almost never stop to eat. I just bring food with me to munch on. I'm perfectly happy just snacking during the day. I'm usually so busy, I'm so focused, I'm concentrating on, especially if I'm visiting 3 cemeteries and maybe a dozen grave sites in a period of 8 to 10 hours. I'm very focused and I don't want to take an hour or so break to go have lunch. So I just bring things with me to munch on throughout the day. So I thought I would share with you and show you what I bring along on most of my trips. And now I get, as I've also shared on this channel, I get really, really bad heartburn. So I have to also be careful about what I eat. To try to minimize the heartburn. So let me show you what I bought yesterday at the grocery store and I'm taking with me. Now, water is the main thing. I take tons and tons of water. I like to stay very, very hydrated throughout the day, especially if I'm out walking in the hot sun, and it should be in the 80s tomorrow, which isn't too bad, but when you're standing in the direct sun, a lot of times there's not a lot of a lot of these cemeteries don't have a lot of trees, and so you're just baking in the hot sun, and 80 degrees feels more like 100 degrees when you're out there for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours. So I definitely bring lots of water and electrolytes. I have, well, let me show you. So not necessarily the healthiest, but very easy just to eat on the run. So I usually bring some fruit. I've got these bananas, easy to eat. And I'll probably have to eat these earlier because in the hot car, they're gonna get really ripe and rotten very fast. Now I found these little chips, chocolate chip cookies. I really like chocolate chip cookies, and especially the Famous Amos. They didn't really have any Famous Amos, but I found these chippers, and I tried one last night, one little package. It's only 140 calories, and it has about 5, 6 tiny little cookies like the Famous Amos type. Those are my favorite. They just seem to be the healthiest of when it comes to chocolate chip cookies. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of butter and grease and that type of thing. I'll take a few packages of these with me in case I get hungry for a little dessert, which I always, you know me, I always do, and definitely have a sweet tooth. And I bought one of these. I don't buy these anymore because they're like $1.38 now, where they used to be 88 cents or 80 cents. And I don't know, it just kind of pisses me off that they've jacked up the price so much for a bottle of water, for a bottle of colored water. I mean, it does have electrolytes in it, but I can make my own. So yeah, I can do that, and I probably will just in the future just go ahead and make my own, which is a lot cheaper and is just as effective. But this is convenient and easy. I also found years ago, and I've been doing this for years, I rarely ever eat chips, but I found this is so easy. I just put this in the passenger side of the car. And in fact, all of this is just on the seat next to me, so I can just grab a bite here and there whenever I want in between driving from cemetery to cemetery or from gravesite to gravesite. And these, they don't give me heartburn. So I really love that they fill me up. I don't really need that many. It's just lightly salted, not a lot of salt. It's really not that unhealthy since I don't really eat a lot of chips otherwise, but I do tend to really like them. They're very convenient and easy to eat. While I'm driving on the freeway, I can just grab a chip here and there. And same with these. Chocolate does give me heartburn if I eat too much and if I'm not drinking a lot of water, but on these trips I drink so much water that I don't get heartburn from the chips and the chocolate. And there's not that much chocolate in these anyway. So pretty much this is what I eat for my lunch, and maybe even dinner, depending on how long I'm out there. And I usually will eat breakfast right before I go. I used to eat toast, but now that I'm not eating butter, and I just don't eat the toast, I don't eat toast anymore. So I'll just have a bowl of cereal, and that'll hold me over for, a few hours. So that'll get me started, and then I have this throughout the day. And to be honest, I'm so busy filming, I just don't get that hungry. And then when I come home, I'm usually so exhausted and wiped out from the day and the drive. It's usually the drive, the freeway traffic here in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area is crazy. I'm usually so exhausted that I don't really have much when I get home, maybe a tiny little salad or something, and that's about it. Now, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I guess it's just the water. I mean, I have 3 or 4 of these that I hide on the floorboard under a lot of towels and things to keep them cool so they're not baking in the sun. And then I have this is full of my, I've got my allergy medication and my heartburn pills and hand sanitizer and sunblock and all kinds of things like that. So I mean, this is loaded with eye drops and just loaded with all kinds of other things that you might need throughout the day. Since so many of you have asked me over the years what I eat on these road trips or suggest what I should be eating on these road trips, I thought this might be a fun thing to share on this channel. I try to stay focused on the other channel, just on the grave sites and the cemeteries, but I thought, well, it might be kind of fun to share with you some of the behind-the-scenes preparation that I go through to take these trips, to visit the cemeteries. I mean, that's something I think a lot of viewers don't realize, just how much goes into visiting cemeteries and grave sites and sharing these videos. So thanks for joining me as I get ready for my much needed and long awaited road trip. I'm actually very excited about taking this road trip. I just, for so long I just was dreading going anywhere, driving anywhere, but now I don't know if it's spring fever or what, but I'm very excited. I'm feeling good. The weather should be nice. I don't know, a storm is coming in, so I don't know, it could be 50-50 as far as the weather, but no matter what the weather is. It'll be just nice to get out, spend the entire day. Oh, and by the way, usually when I go, it's going to take me, like I say, 2 hours there, probably 2.5 to 3 hours coming home. I leave really early, so there won't be as much traffic, but coming home, I'm going to be in a lot of traffic. So it's probably going to take 5 hours of driving just for this one day trip. And then I'll spend 8 to 10 hours walking around the cemeteries, filming and exploring. It's a long day, it's a long drive, it's very exhausting, but a lot of fun. And I'll be sharing all of those videos with you on my other channel, the Graveyard Channels. So if you're interested in seeing those, make sure and subscribe over there so you don't miss any of those videos. So wish me luck tomorrow in finding all the graves that I'm looking for, and I'll see you on the next video.